I have returned. It doesn't click. It does not click, and I don't like it. Anyway, today I'm going to be painting things, right? I'm gonna be painting rocks. Just basic old rocks. But the thing is that's a little different about this is I'm not like painting like individual designs for each one rock. More like my idea for this is more of like just the way that they are portrayed, like the way that they are artistically go together in their set. Yeah, so that's what we're doing today, painting rocks. Let's get to it, I guess. Hello, with a weird backwards wave. And these are my rocky victims for this video. There's a lot, and I'm slightly overwhelmed, but I got this. I arranged some of these rocks in like an artistic way, and like this is what I was talking about with how they are perceived. I wanted them to be painted in sets. There's also this really weird spherical rock that I thought was interesting that maybe I could try and paint as well. And we're gonna start with that one. I also had this small rock that the sphere-looking rock can go on top of. And here I am mixing my colors. I believe I used a random color scheme generator for this because I wasn't quite sure what colors to paint the rock. That was some very explosive paint. And in with the painting. Now that I'm looking back at this, I probably should have painted a white base coat on this rock, but I did not. The 4 colors that I had mixed up, I wanted them to be like blendy on the rock. So first I painted the colors on the rock in a more stripy pattern to make sure that they were opaque, and then I started to blend them together. I fidgeted with the yellow, that sounded so weird. Fidgeted. I messed with the yellow quite a bit because yellow is a very sensitive color, especially next to a green and a very, very dark blue that is practically black. But I got it to look decent. I decided to paint the small rock just like a basic black dark color. It's actually not black, it's a really dark blue. But it's just kind of hard to see that, but it's not black, it's a dark blue. And I feel like I've said the word dark blue too much. Anyway, I took that same dark color and I started to make this like planty seaweed looking dark smoke stuff. Oh, that's how it looked like originally? I should have kept it like that. I fiddled with it until I got to this point and I called it done. But this is not the last time you will see this rock. Moving on to the next set of rocks, I'm mixing my colors, and am I painting this rock like a rock? Yes, I am in fact painting this rock like a rock. Don't judge. The original texture of the rock did not pass the vibe check, but I did gesso the inside. Now's when the fun begins. I got my colors, and here I am starting to paint the inside of this rock with warm colors. My goal with this rock was to make it look like a geode with the warm colors inside of it, kind of like the crystals inside of a geode. But instead of crystals, I made it kind of like this outliney, stripy thing to match the inside shape of the rock. Doing some touch-ups and moving on to the other 2 rocks, I painted a base coat of white on them so then the colors would pop better and I wouldn't have to put 50 million coats of paint on the rocks. I painted the smaller rock in the set with warm colors to match the inside shape of the other rock that I just painted, since this is the one leaning up against it in the set. I should have code names for the rocks so I don't have to say the rock that I just painted or the smaller warm colored rock in the set. But I feel weird naming rocks. That reminds me of those freaking rock pets that kids would sell at elementary school. Little Tommy out there somewhere selling his rock pets for a whole 10 cents. This next rock in the set is going to be painted with cool colors. Do you kind of see where I'm going with this? I really liked the idea of cool colors and warm colored stripes. This was a very enjoyable process. I don't know, I like painting small perfect lines on things, which is why it took a ridiculous amount of time to do touch-ups, so I skip over most of that. The next rock that I'm painting is not in a set because it was so flat that I just wanted to paint a design on it. So I put on a base coat of white, and then I couldn't resist the urge to make an abstract piece of some sort. So I started to paint this rock with the colors that I had already had so I wouldn't waste paint, and I started to paint some shapes onto the rock. I don't know why the camera quality decided to just not. That's kind of annoying. I don't quite understand the point of that transition. It looks exactly the same as it did before. Then I grabbed a Sharpie because this needed some outlining detail stuff, but I should know better than to try and use a Sharpie on paint. It doesn't work very well on the paint, and I kept getting paint like on the nib, so I think it might have been scraping off the paint, so that was not good. And at some point I believe I switched Sharpie pens, but then for some reason I ended up switching back to the Sharpie pen that I was using before, so I then added some final details, signed it, and moving on to the last set of rocks. These are the 4 rocks that are going to be stacked like those rock sculpture things. I mixed up my colors and then began to paint. Once again, I probably should have done a base coat, but instead I globbed as much paint as possible onto the rock. But I mean, it worked. And flipping it over to the backside of the rock. Each one is going to be a different color to create some color scheme stacky rock thing. I painted rocks like years ago, back in 2020, which was 2 years ago. Oh, that's so weird. Anyway, I painted 3 rocks, which I still have on my background somewhere. I don't remember where they are, but they're here somewhere. I'm not quite sure where I was going with this. I painted rocks in 2020, 3 of them, and I kind of hate them, which is probably why I don't know where they are. And for the last tiny rock, I really wanted to make it like a hot poppin' pink, but I didn't have the colors to do that, so I accidentally made it a little too close to the orange color, which was very annoying later on. And here are my 4 victims of the rock stack. And since they're going to be stacked, I couldn't necessarily put like a character design fun thing, so I basically just took the dark color and swirled it around on there to create like paint scribbles. I think I went a little overboard on that 3rd rock though. And after I finished the tiny rock, I flipped over the other rocks and did the same painty scribble thing on the other side. We're back at it again with this freaking rock because I realized that I hated it. So, I tried to add white onto it, but I honestly think that it made it worse. So I tried to undo this mistake by wiping it off with a paintbrush. I'm not quite sure how I thought that was a good idea. Because now this rock is like completely white and I don't have time to start this rock over, so frustration. I didn't know what to do, but then I started to wipe it off with the paper towel, which actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. I thought I liked it better, but it's okay, I guess. I still kind of hate it though. But here are all of the completed rocks that I painted in this video, plus our little failure friend. But now it's time to coat all of these rocks in a nice juicy coat of varnish to protect the paint and also give it a nice glossy shine. done. Here is my stack of rocks. I'm not sure these are my favorite, but they're still cool, I guess. And here is the abstract rock. I originally thought I wasn't gonna like this one much, but abstract is a part of my soul. I like it. And these ones are my children. I love these ones so much. I don't know, just something about them. They're just so cool. And then there's this one. It's very rollable, and I think that's the only good thing about this rock. This rock did nothing wrong, except just exist. But anyway, here are all the rocks that I painted today. I love them all so much, except for, you know, that one. This rock did nothing wrong, I'm just hating on it. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video because I actually very much enjoyed painting rocks. And I kind of want to do it again, honestly. But I do hope that you have a fantabulous rest of your day. Bye!